to the powerhouses of the global corporate stage. I am so excited for tonight. It is a very, 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 very special guest that we have tonight. She is a powerhouse in her own right, and I'm so excited for you all to get to meet her. A little bit about myself for those of you all who are brand new. My name is Lovely Marshall. I am the host of the Powerhouses of the Global Corporate Stage. And the reason why I decided to make this podcast is because I know so many people who bring in entrepreneurs and various things, but they really don't hone in on those who are corporate inspirations. And so I wanted to allow you all to have an introduction of people who are making incredible, bold moves today, that they went from corporate inspirations into building their own dynasties and their own corporations. So welcome, 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 everybody. And I am so excited for Miss Marlene. Hello,
Yeah,
Marlene. How are you doing this
I,
evening?
I am fine. I am so excited to be on here with you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I'm so excited to have you. So, could you please tell the people a little bit about you, our global phenomenon, because we internationally know.
Oh, honey, I like that. And you know what? My name is Marlene Trimuel. I am better known as the Knockout Queen. And what I do is I empower women and I teach them how to take bold moves so that they can get up and fight for what they deserve. A lot of times I find out, Lovely, we always talk about what we want to do, but we don't take action. So bold moves is empowering you to take action and go after what you deserve. Let's not talk about it. Let's take action.
Yes, I love that. That is absolutely amazing. Bold moves, let's take action. And I love that. I see you have the boxing ring. So she
Yes.
is ready to
And
knock
guess
out
what?
the competition.
Hey, I gotta show these two. I have my own custom gloves.
What?
Get up and fight,
God,
honey.
I
We're gonna be
love
taking some bold
that.
moves in
And what is
2025.
it? What does it say?
It says get up and fight.
Get up and fight.
And
I
on the
love it.
inside, it says keep fighting.
Ooh, yes. Keep
Yeah.
fighting.
So you can find
I
this
love
on
that.
my website. And I just want to encourage women to go after. In order to be that powerhouse, you have to take action.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. I love this that you got to keep fighting. And y'all know my name, my token name is the undefeated champion of enthusiasm, because I've had a lot of bad days, but nobody can beat me with being enthusiastic. So I'm so excited for everyone to get to know you. And I want to like start it off with sharing with people, like, how do we even connect? So I met this incredible woman because of the boxing glove. I was watching her. um what made me fall in love with her, y'all? So she is on these incredible speaking stages. She
Mhm.
speaks with some big names. And I was like, okay, you speaking, is that so and so? And she was like, it is. I'm like, that needs to be your content. Like every day, you just need to talk about this one thing, just this one thing that you spoke on a stage with these people, that people were looking for you. And you weren't just in your hometown, you was in Las Vegas. So I
Yes,
was
yes.
really, really just blown away by who she was. And that just made me like fall in love with her. And we were like,
Thank
okay,
you.
we got to connect. We got to talk about these bold moves. So thank you so much.
I appreciate that. I really, really do. And for you reaching out to me. And now we are here. And guess what? When I found you, I found you because you know what, you were bold. And in your story, I'm not going to share your story, but I just love your story as well. And that's why we connected. We had this energy right away that where we connected, and we've been collaborating. That's what I really love. And I really love connecting with the women that are true and genuine and who have the heart for helping other women, just to so we can all rise together. And that's what it's all about, empowering one another. And that's what I love about you. And of course, your smile. You know, your
Oh,
smile
thank you.
just
Thank you.
captivates me and warms my heart. And I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I can't
Yeah.
wait on the future collaborations we've been talking about. And
Yes.
I know,
Yes.
hey, you guys, you're going to be seeing us on stages together.
Yes,
Yeah,
together,
yeah,
together, and
two
that
powerhouses
is
making
that
bold
is
moves. Yes,
so empowering, and I wanna thank you for that because one of the things that we talked about, like, after we connected and listen, a connection was made with a comment. That's a whole nother podcast that we should do, how a comment can turn into connections. And
yes,
now she is literally a part of my mastermind group. I've talked to her. We will have walks and we're like, we need to do this and this strategy. Did you hear
yes.
about this? So don't feel like you can't have new friends. Like don't listen to Drake. That's old news. You do need new friends. New friends can
Yes.
introduce you into incredible things. And I just want to say thank you so much. Just our
Oh, you
short
too.
connection, it has been so empowering for me.
Yes, the same for me too. And I the power of connection. And it starts, like you say, you said, from a comment, and I appreciate that. And so now we're tagging each other on our comments, and we're building. And one of the things too, lovely, I like to say is that we're not threatened. You know how it is when some people are afraid and say, I've heard this before, Marlene, aren't you afraid if you give advice, they're going to excel quicker than you? Know, because what God has for me is for me. And if I have something, is not mine's anyway. God gave it to us to share and to impact others. So yes, I want to see my sister win. And if she has something that I have, she could benefit from, guess what? I'm going to share it. I'm just like that. I'm resourceful, and I love being resourceful. And I know it's going to come back to me. Lovely.
Yes, 100%, 100%. And it already has came back. And I think you touched on something so clearly. We celebrate each other. We don't, and we compliment each other. We don't necessarily need to compete because guess what? There is a person who are like, oh my God, I love Marlene. She has the boxing gloves. That's exactly what I need. And then there's a person who's like, oh my God, I love Lovely. She's exactly what I need. So the
Yes.
people who are there for you, there's 8 billion people. We can't serve them all. So
No.
the people who need to be with you will be with you, and the people who need to be with me
Right.
will be with me. And so I'm just so thankful for it. So I shared this post and got a lot of excitement. So one of the biggest questions that I know we're going to ask each other questions, but one of the biggest question right now on our listeners' mind is what is a bold move? And what is one that maybe you made in your career that led you to becoming, Coach Marlene?
Well, a bold move is moving from where you are right now, which is your comfort zone, and taking action on for something you feel that you deserve, or a goal or a dream that you have. I've always dreamt of being on a bigger stage because I know God has given me a message for the world. And I took that bold move in the weakest time, one of the weakest times in my life. And I was like, God, if you bring me back up, I'm going to get back to what you have called, go back to what you have called me to do. And that is to minister to women and empower women. And that's why my gloves come in, is because I had a pair of purple gloves from years ago, lovely, was buried away somewhere. And God showed me those my gloves in a dream. And I'm like, why are you showing me this? I didn't understand it until 3 months later, when I found out I had a brain aneurysm. And during that time, he taught me how I had to put Marlene first and take care of Marlene. You know how it is. We as women, we multitask. You know, I'm a wife, mother, entrepreneur, daughter. I was a caregiver at the time. So I was helping to take care of my brother who I was losing to cancer, and my mom who had cancer, and also my dad. I was losing him. But guess what? I was taking care of them, but I was neglecting Marlene. Plus, I had my 2 children, and I'm married. I was leaving Marlene last. And so I was also taking on tasks that I should have, let those God handle those tasks, right? I was being superwoman, but guess what? When I found out I had that brain aneurysm, that's when my doctor told me, Marlene, if you don't take care of you, that stress is going to take you out before them. And so that's that day I made a vow to myself. I'm going to make the bold move of saying no. Saying no, no is a complete sentence. I have to take care of me. I need to
It
properly
is a
rest.
complete sentence. No.
Yes,
I
yes.
love that.
And people respect what you respect. So I made a boundary, and I had to tell myself no. And what I also did was I made a vow to myself. I'm always pouring into others. I took that energy and started pouring into Marlene. And I started practicing what I preach. I can empower others, but the hardest thing is empowering yourself, because you feel like you're being selfish. But I had to, so that I could be where I am today. We would have never met if I wouldn't have taken that bold move when I did. So that's why I'm here talking to you, my sister Powerhouse. And that's why I'm here, because I took the bold move. I said, Marlene, I'm going forward scared. And I'm not perfect in everything that I'm doing, but one thing I can do, I can empower another sister. And that's what I love doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what we call those 2 snaps. The 2 snaps. I love that.
So I appreciate you, for edifying me, because, sometimes when you always give, sometimes it's hard for you to receive. I had to
Mhm,
come out of that,
mhm.
and learn to say thank you. And that is a complete sentence. Thank you.
Yes, yes, it is. Yes, it is. And one of the best sentences ever. Because when you thank people, there's more things that God will give you to thank people for.
Yes, yes.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, good deal, good deal. So, our next question, I think you have one for me.
Yes. Now, I love your slogan. Share with the people, how do you go from being undervalued to being
Mhm.
a paid powerhouse? Not just a powerhouse, but a
Right,
paid
right.
powerhouse.
The paid part, that's the most important part. Like, we need to add the zeros to our bank account. So I believe that the biggest thing that people have to do in order to become a paid powerhouse is, again, those bold moves. I had to do that bold move. And I shared this with you and so many others. The only reason why Lovely Marshall is here today is because I had to make a bold move. I had to decide, like, do I want to be known as a Facebook employee, or do I want to be known as my own empire? And
Mhm.
I still can't seem to get away from the Facebook part of it. But I'm actually like building a name for myself. And like people are like, I saw you on their podcast. But it really does decide. It starts with what is blocking you.
Mhm.
And for me, a lot of the things was not only my boss, it was myself blocking me. But when I made that list of like, why am I not showing up? I see all these amazing women, women like you and others, they're going live and they're speaking on stages, and what are you doing for it? And I was like, oh, I'm scared. What will this person think? What will that person think? And it's like, oh, well, just block them. Like, then they don't have anything to say because they can't see anything. And that was so freeing for me, and I didn't even
Good.
realize that that block your boss would honestly turn into a movement, and me being featured in Forbes about it. Like, everybody, literally, if you are looking and when you hear this, whether it's morning, noon, or night, block your boss. Block the people if you're afraid. Is my sister, cousin, brother gonna think this about me? Block them. Block the people who you are afraid about, because there are people like Marlene and myself who are looking for you. And that's a bold move. That's a bold move for
Yes,
you to become a paid powerhouse. Because while you're stuck and being overlooked because you're not showing up, then somebody else is taking the money that could be, absolutely
I
yours.
and
So,
I
yeah,
totally
thank you for
agree.
asking that.
Yes, and that was so bold. When I saw that, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love it. She wasn't afraid to say it, and she did. Not only did you say it, you did it. You took action.
Yeah, I literally, as a part of my master class, I'm like, look, I still got a lot of people that I have blocked. I mean, I'm a professional blocker. You will not block me like so. Okay, this is something I don't like. Let me block you. No, we're not doing that.
I
So
like
yeah,
that.
I encourage everybody. Seriously, you get one of option. That's it. Not both. You get one option for you to choose from. You have to make a decision. You
Yeah,
either block your boss, or your boss will block you. The people will block you, whoever you're afraid of. And so I just hope that everyone really like has that encouragement. Read the Forbes article. I even tell you like the steps to go about blocking your boss. So on to
I like that.
you, beautiful. Y'all, if you talk about a paid powerhouse. So I was doing a Google search because I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. Like my name, you could Google Lovely Marshall and it pops up. And I was like, let me Google your name. Y'all, 4 pages, 4 pages of Marlene. Like Google her name right now. And just letting y'all know that a powerhouse is a big deal. And she is a big deal. So, how did you become Googleable, if that's even a word? Like my friends at Google let me know. Googleable, searchable. Like, how did you become Googleable, and like how did that process like start for people who are wanting to make headlines and be able to be a part of Google searches?
Well, it's mainly from like your website. I know I had a website. I started on Facebook, but I'm also on there due to I was in the real estate industry. So I have that background. Actually, that's my history. That's how I started on Facebook, and getting out there is through real estate. One of my side hustles that I enjoy doing too was the real estate. I was a real estate broker, and I was very successful in that area before our recession. But that is something that's near and dear to my heart as well. And that's another move for a powerhouse. We'll talk about that on another day and time, but that is the quickest way to becoming a powerhouse, a paid powerhouse. But yeah, I
Yes,
started there,
yes.
and then I strongly believe where people will study you first and follow you first, and how do a person gets to know you is through right now by googling you, and they want to know if they can trust you. That's where you can go. Look me up and figure me, follow me, and that's how you get to know my story. So I'm very careful as to what goes out
Yes.
there. So
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Like that's the first step where people go to Google you. So for all of my people who are LinkedIn, I tell you all the time, please make sure that you are visible. So you want to know how your LinkedIn profile can help you become searchable, go to my masterclass. Like if we talk about all of that. But one of the things that you did not mention is regarding your book. And I thought that was really interesting. And that's also a way to get you paid.
oh
So
yes,
talk
yes.
talk about
I
that.
totally forgot that. The book, Lovely, came about, I forgot what year. It had to be 2014. As part of my women's ministry, God called me to minister to women, and I wanted a book, something that can really, women can really relate to. And I remember talking to my husband on the phone. I said, I need something for women to discover about themselves. There's 4 areas in which they need to really dig deep into, and everything starts with you, with self. And so what we did was we came up with the book, Divorce Your Debt. And but it's the debt that we carry in the four areas of our lives of
Ooh,
self.
can you say that one more time?
Divorce your debt. And
I
it
love.
talks about the four areas. It takes you on a transformation journey. And I was going to see if I had it right around here real quick, but needless to say, it is four areas: spiritual, emotional, lifestyle, and financial. Those are the four areas in which we carry debt. And we walk you through how to get rid of those, the debt that's keeping you from moving forward to becoming a paid powerhouse. Though there are challenges that you have to overcome. Because of those challenges, we self-sabotage our very own goals. So that book really walks you through the four areas. And I've created a framework a self framework that I do use in my coaching practice with the women that I do coach. And I take them through those four areas.
Wow, that is so amazing. Divorce your debt. Like I love that. And thank you for sharing those insights on again how we can make those bold moves. And so a bold move is to divorce your debt. I love that.
Yes. And I want you to share with us what's next. Like when I'm so excited for you. So I have to be honest, I know you are the LinkedIn queen, okay? And I know you're patient with me. Tell me, how did you become a coach for Forbes? How did that happen for
Yeah,
you?
yeah. So honestly, LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'm
Shameless
like,
plug, LinkedIn call me. But it was through LinkedIn. LinkedIn shares incredible things. Like I love being a Facebook employee, but if LinkedIn would have just allowed me to be remote, I would have said yes to be an employee. I feel like I'm their greatest like roll call for it. But it was a Forbes article about something, Forbes editor or something. And I was like, oh my God, Forbes, like that is my dream. So 5 years ago, 7 years ago, I think, Jay-Z and Warren Buffett did an interview together. And it might be older than that, but it was like the richest man in like hip hop, and it had them both together. And so I put on my vision board, I put over I put over Jay-Z, like I'm being very graphic here because I literally was like, it's not gonna be Jay-Z. And I put myself in a suit and I put the picture over Jay-Z, and it was Warren Buffett passes the mantle to lovely Marshall. Like I
oh,
was like,
wow.
Warren Buffett is gonna be my person. And I just always just wanted to be on Forbes. I think everybody does. Like I think Forbes, Inc., Entrepreneur, like
Oh,
all
yes.
of them, you want to be on them. It means you somebody. It means you're a
Yes.
big, it means
Yes.
you're a powerhouse, right?
Exactly.
And it had the lady, and I think it said like she was looking for people, or you join this exclusive network or something like that. And I was like, I know that I could do this. I totally could do this. And so I just wrote her like what I was doing, how I went from making $37,000 a year to 37,000 a month with Facebook, and from failure to Facebook, like all of this stuff. And I was like, from Facebook, from Forbes, from failure to Facebook to Forbes to Fox, like I'll do all the F's. I'll be an F plus student. And she was like, yeah, it was tough though. It was like a big interview, but it has it has been a outline for me to really just share all of my insights, me blocking my boss. I just shared about the comfort zone trap, how people say in career positions year after year after year after year and only makes 2%. But when you go to another job or even within your company, if you apply instead of staying at the same job, it's like compound interest. You can go further so much faster. And it is literally just lessening of my own career. I took the pathway. I didn't stay at the same job. I left. I went here and I went from 6%, 18%, just doing those things. And it just really allows me to get my thoughts out on paper. And one thing that I love about articles, unlike YouTube, rude, Facebook, sometimes rude, Instagram, TikTok, like they will delete your videos, but an article is something that stays forever. Just like how you said, like these were things that came from your website and the
Yeah.
blogs and stuff. It stays forever, that
Yeah.
people can remember who was Lovely Marshall. And even though this might happen in 2060, she had something. And so, how do I block my boss? If that pops up, then my name could potentially do it. So that's why I love articles and things. So that has been like really, really good. And
So
thank you for allowing me to share that.
are you going to write an article on how to block your boss?
Oh, I already did, girl.
You
I
did.
already did.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
I did. Yeah, yeah,
And,
yeah, yeah.
and
Yeah,
I just
career,
saw
it's
your,
called career power moves. Block your boss, the pros and cons, because there's always an upside to stuff. There's always a downside. But yeah, definitely, definitely blocking your boss. So, as we talk about going from this to that, what about you? What is this? How do you go from the ministry to the marketplace? I
oh,
saw
I'm
something
glad
about
you
that.
asked.
Oh,
Yes. It's it's like hot off the press. I'm working on that. I was actually working on that even more today. Lovely. I think with especially women being in the ministry, I just strongly believe when God gives you a gift that it's meant to share with the world. The gift is not only to serve in ministry, but you can also bring it out to the marketplace. Some of us don't want to be a powerhouse, but hey, Lovely said you can be a paid powerhouse because in the word he said that a servant is worthy of his hire, right? So what's your value? You can get paid for it. Okay. So it's not just for women that are in ministry, but a lot of women that are in ministry. I think some of them are afraid to use their gift in the marketplace, but you can use your gift in the marketplace so that it can serve others and have an impact. And hey, you said we're going global, so it can be global. And also corporate women. Okay. I want to also show them how to go from corporate to the marketplace. Being an entrepreneur like you and I is so gratifying to be able to really set your own salary, and you have what it takes. Why not follow the path of Lovely and block your boss and become a paid powerhouse? That's what it's all about. That's what I want to empower women to do, to take their gifts and
yes.
give you the
I
strategy, the
love
blueprint
that.
to do it.
Yes, I love that. And I believe you told me that you can identify with this because you yourself did this from the ministry to the marketplace. So, how
Yes.
did you begin to position yourself for the book, to being on podcasts and speaking on
Yeah.
stages with,
I
how do you maneuver that? Because people say these things, but it's not easy. So, how did you finally make a decision?
it came from a need. I saw a need that was in my church, the one that I was with. The women needed to be empowered, correct? And coming fresh out of college, my background was speech communications and doing presentations. So what I did was I did my first workshop there and a seminar. And I started letting, my friends know what I was doing. Then I started being invited out doing workshops. And also at my job, I was a staff trainer. So I was loving doing that. So I took the skill from the corporate, out to the
I
marketplace.
love it. Okay, did y'all see how she did that? And I didn't know that about you. That's amazing.
Yeah, so I just pulled it all together. That's using your multiple gifts. And now I'm capitalizing on it, and also networking. I cannot be where I am today. It takes a village. And like you said earlier, if you may have some clients that you can't service or I can't service, but I know for a fact, hey, you need to be in Lovely's masterclass, because when it comes to LinkedIn, trust me, she's telling me, Marlene, go up under, your your profile, click on this
Yeah,
and do
I
that.
was. And just I'm like, okay, this does not, and it's literally it's not a way to, as you said, people Google you. It doesn't fit that. And so I'm like, they need to know this about you. Okay, you've been a podcast guest. You need to have that.
Yeah.
You need everything that you possibly can. Please list it, because you don't realize that people are actually looking for you, not just jobs, but industries and consultations, and ministries might even be looking for you, like who
Yes.
are Christian men and women that we can partner with. So I love
And
that.
I'm
Thank you
loving
so
it.
much.
And I'm so excited, because what I love to do is put together networks. And I actually had I created years ago the Kingdom Network of Women in Ministry, meaning that we can't do it all by ourselves. I believe in collaborations. So guess what? I'm out there, but guess what? When you see my behind the scenes, I love it when you say, hey, Marlene, you need to be doing this. I love when you say, make sure you comment. We support one another. And I love that. That's what it really takes, because guess what? I have my moments too. I don't think of everything. And when you send me that quick text, Marlene, do this, do that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You don't have to, but you do. You thought about me. I appreciate that.
And the same thing goes, because again, it's a celebration. I
Yeah.
want to celebrate you. And the only way to get people and help people is they have to know about you. And I think a lot of us, we're so scared to like comment our own stuff, like, oh, nobody else comment, or nobody else. You so have a whole conversation with yourself. Some days I will go back and I'm like, wow, I'm so proud of you. Girl, you were a hot mess. And now you're doing so much better. So I think that it comes to sometimes commenting and doing things, and you see things that I may not see as
Mhm.
well. And again, that's that collaboration that you talked about. And then you build a community, because then I can be able to say, well, Marlene, go to this podcast and you be their podcast guest. And then
I
you
like
send
that.
me some podcasts too, where I should be on. So it's really an amazing thing when you have people to collaborate with.
I appreciate that. And that's what it's all about, us supporting one another and just showing up for one another. Just don't talk about it, but be about it. And just, I love it.
Yeah, I love that. So, as we are closing out, how can people find you, follow you? Like, what do you have going on in the next upcoming weeks?
Well, you can contact me through my website, www.marlenetrimuel.com. That's marlenetrimuel.com. And I'm also starting a podcast on Spotify, and it's called the Knockout Queen Live. So it'll be kicking off December 1st. So definitely you can hear audio from me, some empowerment messages on there, because we need it in this time during this season too. Lovely. So I'm all about empowering us in all areas and all seasons of our life, not just in the corporate or ministry. We need each other through the good, bad, and in different times of our lives. But
Yes, I love that. Okay, say that again. Like, where's the podcast? How can we find you? Are you seeking guests?
I
What
am
can we
seeking,
do for
yes,
you? I
yes.
love
Go to my website, www.marlenetrimuel.com. That's TRIMUEL.com, and send me a message, there. Also, you can go to my Facebook page, Marlene Trimuel. You can find me on Facebook. You can DM me there. So yes, I
You can
am
find her on LinkedIn.
Oh, yes, you can find me on LinkedIn as well. Thank you. See, that's my sister, Marlene Trimuel on LinkedIn, and also Marlene Trimuel on Instagram and
Yes, that
TikTok. I'm
is
on
so
TikTok as
amazing.
well.
See you. And that is so amazing. The Knockout Queen Live. I love that. And I think I was sharing this with another young lady who I was able to be a guest on her show. And podcasts are so freeing, and it's actually sort of like a therapy because number one, I have never been more celebrated in my life.
Oh,
It's so
wow.
nice to have it. Yeah, like when you're talking on these podcasts, we're celebrating each other and we're like, wow, I didn't know that. And tell us more. You feel so empowered. So I really, as we talk about taking bold moves, everybody for 2025, we should be taking an instance of at least being on 5 podcasts that
I
we
like
would
that.
like to be on, especially if you're a corporate inspiration. Podcasts are a great way for you from a interview perspective. You get out your you get out the us and the likes and the shoulds and the what is it that I do? You can really be very empowered through podcasts, and you also could be freed. Some of the stuff that she was saying about bold moves and how she had to do it, it's so freeing to know that you're not alone. So
Yeah.
please share your story with other people. It's so easy, very bare minimum. I really encourage everybody to be on podcasts, and I'm so excited to listen to yours, the Knockout Queen Live. That is so amazing. I thank you for joining my podcast, the Powerhouses of the Global Corporate Stage.
And I'm going to have you on Minds as well. And so expect that invitation, because I want you to be able to share even more, what has happened from now until then, because I know great things are coming your way. And we need more powerhouses like you to be able to share their story.
Same, same, same. So before we end, I was on a radio show with Miss Erica Odom, the Hidden Hard radio show. And she asked a question of like, what is your word for 2025? So now I have to ask everybody that. What is your word for 2025? What's one word that you would say for 2025?
Mine is bold moves.
No, but you have to do one word. So you have to do
Oh,
one.
I was going to do, that's the hashtag in front.
Together. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What's my word? Because he usually gives me a word. Um, Resilient.
Ooh, okay. I love that. Resilient. Okay. Mine for 2025. She said hers is multiply. So I'm taking multiply too, because I want everything that God does to multiply. I want him to multiply the number of guests that I have and the number of listeners every week
I
and
like
the
that.
people who are connected to me. So I love that. Thank you, Erica Odom, for that. But when I thought about it, it was guaranteed.
Oh, I
I
like that.
want a guaranteed blessing on everything that I do. I want guaranteed clients. Don't want the, fishy ones. Oh, I'm gonna get back to you. They don't. I want guaranteed contracts. I want guaranteed speakers and hosts to come on my podcast. Like I want 2025 to be a guaranteed success. And so my word is guaranteed. I want to guarantee things like when I'm telling people that they're going to get the results. It's guaranteed. So that is my word for
I like that. I
2025.
like those.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It took a lot of prayer. It took a lot of prayer. And the Bible verse that came with it was Deuteronomy 28, where it says that the Lord will guarantee a blessing on everything that you do, multiplying you and blessing you with many
Oh
children and
yeah.
livestock, all of that. And I was like, guaranteed. I love that.
Yes.
Guaranteed. So that is my word for 2025. We have resilience, we have multiply. I'm excited for our next podcast guest to share things with us. So before we leave, what would be one question? I'm still in this on the Diary of the CEO. I love that show. But what would be one question that you would like our next podcast guest to answer for our audiences?
Huh. I don't know. You got me stumped on that one because I'm thinking about what's next for your future self.
That's the question. What's next for your future self? That's a good question. Okay. All right, guys. There you have it. What's next for your future self? I am so excited to ask this question on my next podcast and share this out with you all about what people have. We have had the honor of having Miss Marlene Trimuel on here. She is a bold move. She's made bold moves. She's a powerhouse in her own right. She went from the ministry to the marketplace. She did bold moves to go from real estate to resilience, everything. I'm so honored to have you here. If you all want to connect with her on all social medias, TikTok, Instagram, most importantly, LinkedIn at
Yes.
Marlene Trimuel. And I am Lovely Marshall. I am the accelerator for Powerhouses, taking those who feel overlooked and undervalued to transform and become highly paid powerhouses. Thank you all so much for listening. If you all want to be a guest and be a part of the corporate inspiration, because again, you don't need to be an entrepreneur. I want to hear from the janitors, the admins, the sales associates. I
Yes.
want to hear from you all because your stories are so inspiring. There is somebody that is praying for your job, and for you to give them those insights and knowledge, it's the key for them to become a paid powerhouses. So definitely connect with me at I am Lovely Marshall on TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and I'm so grateful for our many listeners for the time that you will connect with us. I hope you all have a